Hi everyone, Antoine Elving here. Today a little video to show you how I made my Everything You Do remix for Afroki. For those who don't know, Afroki is Afrojack and Steve Aoki. I had the chance to do one remix for them. I released that remix for free last Friday because unfortunately they will not do any remix pack. And as Afrojack plays it since Tomorrowland Winter, also at Ultra and many more festivals,
in that place, turn up the bass.
As well, Steve Aoki played it at EDC Las Vegas in June, I think. They both loved the remix.
Turn up the bass.
So I thought it would be bad to not share it with you. So I asked Afrojack if I could release for free, and he kindly answered to me, yes, so you can download it for free. It's on my Soundcloud. I will just lay the link in my description if you want it. And now let's just dive into the Ableton project and I will show you how I've done that. As you can see, it's a really simple project. There is not a lot of stuff. I use a lot of the original stems that they sent to me. So let's just start with the break. And what I've done is I use the original stems. I use the harp and the pad. It is just a simple pad, but the harp without, it's like that. And me, what I've done is only change a little bit the transient. I add some reverb, a delay as well. So now it will sound less dry as the original, and I have just a filter that is basically more for the opening until the build-up, and the low cut just to get rid of what I didn't need. So let's listen after. So you see it's quite a big change, but I wanted to keep the break as clean as the original, so I didn't add anything more. Now let's just jump to the vocal, and basically it's nearly the same. It's a little bit of EQing, but like really tiny. But in terms of vocal treatment, what I have, it's only this DSR first that I love. It's like one of my favorite right now. It's a simple plugin. You have everything you need. I can go just really fast with that one. It's for that I use it. I have all the listening button that I want. And if I get rid of too much S's, I can push a little bit more this hair button that will give just this bright push in the air frequency in case we need it. And I have the Suzy 2 right after, that is just to de-resonate the same area as the S, but rather than is totally the original.
Everything you do makes me alive. Everything you do makes me feel. Everything you do makes me alive.
So now we can talk about the transition to the build-up. I will start with this, both reverb and delay. It is just a reverb opening just to do a smooth transition. I mean, there is nothing wow in it.
Everything you do makes me alive.
It is just to fading out with the build-up that we will go right after. And the alter boy, it's at maximum, nearly 30%. It goes more into the second build-up here, so we will go here. It just had to add these lower vocals. I will just put at the maximum, you will hear better.
Everything you do makes me alive.
And in fact, it's easy. It's during the transition. I just opened the mix a little bit, so we hear this lower harmony that will be fade with the reverb and the delay, and it adds something. You can hear in the delay that there is the original and this alter boy just behind. Right after, I have the ad-libs, that it's the same. I just add a little reverb on it, and I've done just a sidechain compression that it's triggered by the acapella. Like that, the ad-libs will be compressed when the vocals will be singing.
Do makes me feel
The other stuff is just a filter for the intro, and this compressor, it's a sidechain compressor. When the kick hits at 71% because I didn't want this full ducking effect, but for example here you will have the filter effect and the sidechain effect. The last vocal that we will see now is the pre-drop vocal. You can hear now.
Back in the place, turn up the bass.
Simple. I just looped the beginning. I just add a filter and a delay that it's bypassed at the end because I didn't want it to have this end of delay. I wanted like to cut every effect. It's for that we can hear that it's building up like a lot.
Back in the place, turn up the
and come back like instantly to the dry version. Now let's just dive into the build-up. Usually I have one of my favorite 909 snare. Simple, just EQ, reverb. And I have this clap after. And the same technique as the pre-drop vocal. I bypass the entire auxiliary drums to have like no sound, to just let the vocals alone. I have also some FX that is from the original. This one. And a little sub drop here. The original FX sounded great, so I just left it. And now I start to use the drop lead, the main one, riser that I've done for the second part of the drops. I use this shot from the original. And I use one serum over that it's sampled from the Rave Generator famous VST plugin. It's a bank that you can find in my website, theproducerhelper.com. The pack is made by my close friend Morel. It's available for free. I will just put a link down in the description if you just want to download it. But basically is the hardcore Hoover here. With a simple filter, a long reverb because I wanted a long reverb to open until the drop. And I just add a Dr. MS, one of my favorite plugins to create stereo from nothing. For those who don't know, I have a Patreon page where I post new video every week. Those videos are exclusively for Patreon and not on YouTube. It's where I dive into more details that is for production, mixing or mastering. I show some of my clients' project as mix and master engineer. I show my favorite plugin as well and how I use them. And the last video of last week were about the Dr. MS by Matthew Lane. I did an entire quick video. Sometimes it's 10-minute video, sometimes it will be 40-minute video. It depends of the subject. And I will just put a link down below if you want to check my Patreon and maybe you will want to subscribe on it. Now, let's go for the drop. So we will stay with the synths. I use for the shots here. As I said, I use the hardcore Hoover. Had a layer that it's for my hand pack that is also available in my website, theproducerhelper.com, or in my Patreon as well. It's my preset called Classic Delvic, but like dry, like there is nothing on it. Like it's totally not sound like my own synths, but it's just to add this layer of greediness behind. I have a bass note that is from the original, and I have this top bass as well that I reuse and took from the original and all the shot bass together. Now let's go to the main synth, but basically it's a serum. It's from my classic Delvig, normally, that I use. It's called No Unison because I use that for another track and I get rid of the unison, but in fact I put it back and I just reuse my entire synth chain, but no matter, there is unison. And what I've done is I just add a formant filter to have this, yes, like if the synth was talking. Let me put without. Simple as that. It's just a formant. And you see that it's moving because it's moving depending the notes I'm playing. So by tweaking my own classic Delvig preset on my detuned rave pack, you can achieve kinda the same. This is only a filter. It's only for the build-up and the outro as well. So now I have an utility that I just reduce the volume. The Dr. MS the same, rather than the hardcore over. It was now to take some side information and put it back in the center. After I have a camel crush that you can see because it's buggy, it doesn't work, but I save that the same in an old audio rack, and I know that these settings help me to achieve the sound I want. After I have my Pultec AQP1, this one is the legacy. Normally now I use not the legacy but the new one, but it was in my rack. It's just to boost a little bit the low and the high and the API. It's hard to see, but we can see that it's pushing this high, medium and high frequency. I hope you can hear the difference. There is a volume change, but we can clearly hear that there is more high and more gridness due to this color. After I have bunch of reverb, I have this vintage reverb that I really love. I love to go to the bright hole because, as its name, there is more a bright tone on it. And after I just play with the EQ I cut, the mix, the pre-delay and the decay. After I have this little plate, and as you can see, the vintage reverb and the little plate are not in parallel or inside an audio rack. It's in serial mode. I like to work like that sometimes. This is a long reverb because it's nearly 1 second at 38%, so it's quite big. And this one is more, as its name, it's a plate, so it's different color. And I have that it spends space in your time from Dada Life that they kindly send to me. I like it because it's like the endless mile effect, like this reverb that there is inside. Sorry, I have this last one that I thought that it was only to do a build-up, but in fact I have that one too, that it's in my rack when I open this synth. And that one will be only to do like a build-up at the end of the drop. I will just use that to do like, a fade to go back to a bridge or to go into a second break. So let's listen with and without the 4. After I have an EQ that is just to push the low, medium, nearly bass, and just a dynamic EQ on the high. Look. And you can see that this little move, that is not a little move, that is 3 dB push, but we can clearly hear more the low end and the warm of the synth. After I have this Clyphonic, it's in a rack because as the Clyphonic does not have an output, when you push, you win gain, and I wanted to level match, so I just level match the output and it's easy. After I have this trick that I showed already in a video in French in my YouTube channel, but it's a trick do like the Dr. MS, but it's just to take the side information and put back in the middle. So what I've done is just do a channel that it's the entire synth, normal. And I create a layer that I do just one bend, push back, sometimes at the maximum, sometimes no. We still have this large sound, but we have a little bit more of the mid information. So what it does is that when we will play back the sound in mono or listen into a mono system, the mono compatibility will be much better when we will listen back in mono with that. Right after I have an S1 imager that now I don't use a lot. It is just reducing a little bit, but you can use an utility. After I have a Suzy 2 that is just here to just clean a little bit the hard resonance of that synth. Especially those 4. That they were really, really annoying. Right after I have a standard clip. That it's clipping like a lot with a soft clip saturation on it. After I have this sidechain, it's just an audio rack, but it's just to can bypass the 2 sidechain in one button. First with compression, like the typical sidechain, and one with the kickstart that it's more for the beginning. And after it goes into drop folder with the 2 other synths that we will see. It's just basically just to reduce this annoying part here. This I will jump to the original lead. I just layer it for the second part of the drop with the original, and it sounds like that. My melody is just playing the original melody. My first melody was not exactly like that. It's Afrojack that asked to me to change, and he said to me that it would be better if I match the original melody. So that one. After it is just a riser with Legend. I really like this preset and even this plugin. It's a fantastic plugin. It's a simple lead with an autopan and reverb. So without. Simple. And after the same sidechain, it works well. And that's it for all the instruments. All those instruments are going into an instrument rack that I have another clipping on it. I have an endless mile. I think I don't need to show you what is an endless mile. I suppose that you know what it is. And right after, we will go through the kick and bass. The kick, I didn't change anything. I just fading out a little bit. I shorter it. I just transpose it to semitone up. A little bit of EQing, and that's my kick. I wanted a short one because I have a C-trans bass here. I remember just changing the random phase, and I place the phase here. I total left, and this one start a little bit after. A simple EQ, a boost, a low cut that normally I don't do, but in fact I left it and it works well, so I didn't change, but usually it's just to fade in out here, for example. And I left it. Usually I remove because I don't need, but as I work it like that, I didn't want to change any phase shifting to have another phase shift if I remove that EQ within the kick. After I have a Dr. MS to create stereo, as you can see. Normally it's mono. Now it's stereo. After I have an utility, this time I push the volume because I didn't have enough volume. I have a simple old air bass, and it's an air bass, it will saturate around this area. And after I have this one, I use the shaper box, but it's just a more detailed kickstart. In fact, the same compressor before, like a sidechain that it's molded to the kick. And after I have a SUSI 2 that it's only doing in sidechain through the kick in this sub bass part. Like that, any stuff that will stay between the kick and the bass will be removed. Like every sub frequency that could be clashing. So like that, I can be really loud. Each frequency are in this place. This goes into a kick bass bus that it's clipping here. A little bit of saturation. And after it's just to me to check the ocular scope and check. Like that, I can check my kick and bass always. It's a free plugin. Ocular scope by Boom Chenka machine works well, but you can use the one inside the shaper box. It will work totally the same. And after the drums, we already saw the clap and the snare that I will use into this part. I have this stadium clap that this EQ is just working for the filter. If not, I just get rid of the side information. I have a long reverb on it to add like a texture in this clap. And I have this sidechain that I use always for my vocal and drums. It's for that I saved with that name. It's a hard sidechain, but with a 50% dry weight. Like that, we bring back the original signal. And I have a layer. I have this clap layer that it's with no effect, nothing. It just helps to have more transient. Listen. In this rack, I have an open hat that we can hear. It was mono and now in stereo with this free ozone imager 2. Little bit of EQ, sidechain, and that's it. And I have another layer that I solo at the right, put back in the center. This one I left it in mono. And what I've done is just here I put the warping mode in bits in transient. So we'll put a marker on it, and I just reduce to 65. Before it was like a long. And you can go really low to do snappy drums. It was just to get rid a little bit of the end. So that sounds like that. And basically that's it. If it's only that, all that goes into what they call Pre-Mixbus. I have nothing on the vocal because it just collects all the vocal. And the drum and bass, that is kick, bass and drums. Only the old music has a track spacer when the vocal is playing. It's just a sidechain by frequency when the vocal is playing. And I have the same with the SUSI 2, but for the low frequency of the drum and bass. It's for that I didn't EQ a lot my instrument, because in fact I will not have any clash from those two. This is what is removing when the kick and bass is playing. And now let's dive into the Mixbus quickly. I just push 1 dB more because I needed those 1 dB to gain stage to go into my hardware limiter, that is the Bettermaker, and to just gain stage at the level that I want to work. Right after I have this little EQ, it just boosts in the low, that you can see, a boost here. I remove that frequency you can hear. And just a little bit push of air. But I do tiny move normally in my Mixbus. Right after it goes into the Bettermaker. So this is only the plugin that controls the hardware. This is not a plugin that you can use normally if you don't have the hardware. You can see hardware connected. And is my first stage of clipping, limiting, you can see. So you see it's more a clipper than a limiter in the way I use that. And I use in mid-side, so the side information are not limit. It's like a pre-clipping stuff before entering into my main plugin of the Mixbus, that is the God Particle, but right before I have this ozone imager, that it's here only to put back in mono everything that is under 50 Hz, more or less. It doesn't change a lot in the sound, but by security, I prefer to do that. And now let's go to the God Particle. I change nearly nothing except the sidechain intern. I put 2 external and it goes to the old drums like that. I will have less medium information that will be compressed. If I put intern, I had too much compression. So I just put external and like that it will compress like if the God Particle was hearing only the bass, the kick and the drums, but no instrument, no vocal, but it compress in the entire spectrum, of course. And after I have this first stage of limiting that is by default at 5 dB, but I have a lot of video again in my Patreon, a lot of exclusive video where I show why I use that, how I enter it, why I have this gain stage at this level before entering, why my kick and bass is at this level, etc, etc. But it will be too long to explain everything in one video here on YouTube. But basically that's it. And after I have, that's called master, but in fact it's just where I need and when I need to push a little bit more. You can see I have just 0.6 push in this ozone 11 just to win a little bit more gain, but you will see that normally I don't need those gain because you will see in my output the song is already really, really loud and clean, and I didn't need so much. So as you can see, I'm really, really loud. The peak in momentary, or even here that it's another LUF meter, that it's even more fast than the momentary. We have some really loud peak, so I didn't need to go too much loud. It works like that. It was perfect. It was louder than a lot of other song, I mean, a lot of commercial song. I wanted to keep that loud, but by keeping this dynamic range here that we can see. I'm totally not squash at all in dynamic range here. So that means that my song is still breathing. I'm not squashed. I have a huge lofts that it's ironically too loud, but I didn't choose to be loud. I just push, it worked, and that's it. Just the last thing to check is we can check the mono compatibility. We just do mid and side. When we play back the song in mono, I have everything I need, everything I want. That's it. It works well. It's a simple project. I don't have a lot, but it works well. That's it. I hope you liked this video. Check the link below if you want to download the songs. If you want to learn more about production, mixing, and mastering, you can as well check my Patreon and check all my preset packs of Serum, my tonal balance control that I didn't show here, but my tonal balance control preset pack as well. I hope this video has been helpful for you. Just put in the comment if you have anything to say. It was a pleasure for me to show you that project. If you liked it, please subscribe, put a like, and comment as well, as I said. See you in another video. It was Antoine Delvig. Ciao.